This is the way of the priest.
Are these guys fucking for real? Did we just enter a normal Steam Vaults and not an heroic one? oh, Jesus Christ. There we go. And he, oh my god. He drops my pre-bis. What up, players? Hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is. I just hope that you're all fine and ready to learn something about being a holy priest or a healing priest in the Burning Crusade. So, let's get right to it. First of all, what we're going to be covering today is a summary of the priest healer, going from classic to TBC, race and profession selection, consumables, talents, gameplay, and then an outro from there. Make sure to, leave a like on the video if you think it deserved it. Subscribe if you want to see more content from the channel, and leave a comment with some feedback. I always love improving myself in this content creation area. So, first of all, the priest in the Burning Crusade. In my opinion, they are by far the most adaptable healers in this expansion. With their 2 healing specs, they can adapt and perform well, regardless of the group composition that you're in. For example, if you're in a group with many shamans, you're going to be able to tank heal really well. And if you're in a group where you're needed to raid heal more, they're going to be able to perform at that as well. They always bring useful buffs and perform well in both dungeons and raids. An important thing to know is that white raid frame will stand tall and stand proud regardless of the encounter or the demand of the raid. Light be with you, my friends. Let's get into the guide. So, heading from classic to TBC, a couple of things are added into the priest toolkit. Some new spells that you learn while you're leveling up. Shadow Fiend is one of your first cooldowns that regens mana, which is really good to have. Prayer of Mending is a staple heal that you're gonna use almost on cooldown as a priest. It's a pretty special heal, first of its kind. It's a smart heal, so a little bit like a chain heal, but you throw it on the target, and when that target takes damage, the Prayer of Mending jumps to the next target. And then when the cooldown resets, you can throw out another one, so just keep track on where the prayer is. And the last spell to sort of cover in your healing toolkit is also Binding Heal, which is like a flash heal, but it heals yourself as well. Another notable spell to add in here, although it has niche uses, is Mass Dispel. And you learn that at level 70. Let's head into some race and profession selection, but before I give you what's the best, we're going to be walking through all of them. So we're going to be starting out with a human. The thing that to care about with the humans is that they get the human spirit, increased spirit by 10%, and they also get Desperate Prayer, which is a little bit of a self-heal cooldown. It's clutch in a couple of encounters, when you're getting down low and you might be on the move, just throw a Desperate Prayer on yourself, and it's gonna be super good. Next up on the Alliance side is the Night Elves, and Night Elves get Star Shards, which is basically an arcane dot. They get Elune's Grace, which is a cooldown that's gonna increase your chance to dodge and parry stuff. And you also get Shadow Meld, which is a staple stealth ability. You can pop it, but you can't move anywhere. Next one on the Alliance side are the Dwarves, the beer-loving chuggers. They also get Desperate Prayer, just like the humans. They get Chastise, which is a CC ability that you can use, short CC, 2 seconds. And they also get Stone Form, which is a defensive cooldown that increases your armor by 10% and removes bleeds, poisons, and disease effects from the caster, which is pretty good. Next up, before we head over to the Horde, is the new Alliance race, the Draenei, the Space Goats, the Tentacle Boys, whatever you want to call them. So the Draenei get Inspiring Presence, which increases the hit rating of all the party members within 30 yards. And since you're a priest, it's going to be spell hit rating. And they also bring Symbol of Hope, which, like it says, greatly increases the morale of party members, giving them 33 mana every 5 seconds, lasts for 15 seconds, which is a pretty good mana regen buff. You might have this on your priest in the healer group. Next up, we're heading over to the horde side, so we're gonna start off with the trolls, the no shoes boys, the voodoo man. So they get Hex of Weakness, which is basically a curse that you're putting on the target. They get Shadow Guard, which is like a lightning shield, but with shadow damage. And they get Berserking, which increases their casting speed for 10 seconds, regarding on how much health they have. A minimum of 10% and a maximum of 30%, regarding on how much health they have. After trolls, we have the new horde race, the Blood Elves. The most popular horde race by far. You're getting Consume Magic, which is a way for you to get back mana. You're dispelling buffs off of yourself to gain mana. Then you get Arcane Torrent, which also is a way of restoring mana for yourself and silencing all nearby enemies. Last horde race, we have the Undead. So as you can see, they get Will of the Forsaken, which is a way of breaking fear, charm, and sleep effects. It's good for PvP, and they also get Devouring Plague, which is an extra dot. So if you're ever going to play Shadow Priest, this is pretty nice. And in Wrath of the Lich King, we get this spell as a baseline. So for the Alliance, for PvP, if you're gonna play that, Dwarf is the best option to go, and for PvE it's Human / Draenei, mainly because of the increased spirit and the Symbol of Hope. And for the Horde side, it's going to be Undead for PvP, and for PvE it's going to be Troll / Blood Elf for the Berserking and the Arcane Torrent. I want to note here that since, Classic WoW is pretty easy, min-maxing the race isn't really necessary all the time. So play what you enjoy. In the end, you're going to be looking at your priest for many hours, and then you're going to have to enjoy what you're looking at and enjoy the lore if you're into that. So personally, I play a dwarf priest, and I enjoy the hell out of it. So next up, we're going to look at some professions, and this is highly individual, regarding on how you want to be able to make your gold. But some suggestions I would make is that you could go alchemy to craft elixirs and potions and transmutes. You could combine that with herbalism, for example, if you like to farm your own herbs and have maximum profits on the alchemy. You could go tailoring for the Primal Mooncloth set and sell bags. The Primal Mooncloth set is going to be biz for us pretty much all the way up until late tier 5, maybe start of tier 6, especially when we're on a faster content cadence. And then if you're doing tailoring, combine that with enchanting, just to get your ring enchants, and they also feed each other really well to be able to make a lot of gold for yourself, so you can buy that epic flying and all of these other things. Next up, just some consumables we're going to be looking at here. Before every raid, there's a couple of ways to go here. Personally, I prefer to go with the Healing Power Elixir and the Drainic Wisdom Elixir. Flask of Mighty Restoration is a good alternative, and this all depends, if you're gonna go in progress and you might be short on cash. The flask is going to last you the full 2 hours, and if you're pretty confident you're not gonna be able to wipe, you're gonna get more throughput out of the elixirs, but they're also gonna disappear when you die. For the food, always go for the golden fish sticks. They're super cheap on the auction house, and they're gonna do you really good. Always also go for the super mana potion. I find this so much easier to use than the Major Dreamless potion, because with the Major Dreamless potion you're gonna have to sit down and basically channel a spell to regen mana, and you might not always have this available for you. And then for the weapon buffs, note here that it's the Brilliant Mana Oil, that's the best one, that's the classic one, the one from level 60. So start farming those large Brilliant charts. And if you're gonna go for the alternative, go for the Superior Mana Oil, which is from the Outlands. And miscellaneous things is to You can still use dark runes and demonic runes to keep regenerating mana if you feel like you're in a tight spot. But that's something you're gonna have to figure out while you're playing your raids and your dungeons, just to learn how your mana flows from encounter to encounter. Wait. Next up, some talent builds we're gonna be looking into. We're gonna start out with Circle of Healing build. This is the AoE healing build 2041-0. It mainly focuses on raid healing. It really kicks in tier 5 and onwards when the damage patterns sort of change. They go from less heavy tank damage, single target damage, to more, you know, rot damage on the raid. And as you can see here, you're taking 20 points in discipline all the way down to mental agility to get cheaper instant casts. And then you're going all the way down to Circle of Healing, which is a core spell, instant cast AoE healing that you can use on your groups. And, you know, just instantly, even while you're on the move, keep healing the raid over and over and over and over again. It's quite mana heavy, but it's still worth it. Next up is the improved Divine Spirit build. This is more of the tanking build, but you can also use it, you know, if you got plenty of Resto Shamans in your raid, you can use the improved Spirit build, because improved Spirit, Divine Spirit, as you can see here, it's a 10% spirit buff to the whole raid. You know, it also increases the target's damage and healing, so it's gonna be a really good raid buff. You're always gonna be wanting this in your raids. And like I said, it's more of a single target play style. Great if your raid team has plenty of shamans. An easy raid spot with improved Divine Spirit. And then the last one we're going to look at is the Power Infusion build, 31-30-0. As you can see right here, you're going even deeper into the Discipline build to get Power Infusion. And then you're going rest of the way into the Holy. And this build I would mainly recommend if you're chasing parses when you're on farm. And, you know, don't play it otherwise. You know, I don't think you're going to struggle with DPS checks that early to the rates that you're going to have to use Power Infusion to boost one of your mages or warlocks. So, you know, keep to the improved spirit build, Divine Spirit build, or the Circle of Healing build. One thing I would like to add, though, that you can know, they're not part of any of the talent builds, but if you have problems with your tanks are being super squishy, or you might have like a mage tank on Hiking Mulgar or a warlock tank in Serpent's Shrine Cavern that might not really have the gear, you always have the talent Pain Suppression. As you can see here, it reduces a target's threat by 5% and it reduces its damage taken by 40%. Massive DR here. But it's not spec'd in the regular specs. This is highly niche. If you feel like you need to respec for a certain encounter, if you're running into problems, then you can look at using Pain Suppression. So next up here, we're going to look at some user interfaces. This is always going to be, you know, customized on your own. So this is the basic WoW UI. As you can see, we got the bars down low, we got the health bar of myself over here, then we're gonna have the raid frames out to the left. Just remember that every time you're playing, no matter if you're a healer or a DPS, you want to try and center as much information as you can around this area where your eyes are gonna be. So just as a quick little note, this is my Resto Druid's UI. As you can see, I have the raid frames in the middle, I have the cast bar in the middle, and I have my life bloom tracking and other weak auras in the middle. You can see the bars for DBM down here, they're going to grow up here. So I'm trying to centralize as much information as I can. Next up, we're going to be looking at Mouseover macros. This is just a way for you to, you know, be able to target people faster. And you're going to see this when we're jumping into the gameplay, but I just want to show you like a quick little example. So as you can see here, I'm targeting this guy, and then I'm throwing my mouse out on different players and they're getting healed. As you can see there, throwing a heal on this guy, throwing a heal on this guy, and I'm still keeping my target on this player. So if I go back to the user interface, for example, as you can see in my UI, I can always target the boss. I can make sure that I know the boss's health percentage and what's going on there. And then I can just keep healing the raid without having to target new guys all the time. So, other than that, we're gonna walk through some healing spells before we head into some gameplay tips, and then I'm gonna jump in the game and show you a dungeon I'm doing on my priest. So, first of all, what do we have to work with? In direct healing and absorbs, we got 2 ranks of greater heal. We got greater heal rank 2, which is basically your filler spell. We got greater heal rank 7, which is a heavy damage spell that you're gonna have to use. It's also quite costly on mana. We got power word shield as an absorb that you can throw on yourself or on your allies. Prayer of mending, instant cast, we talked about this earlier. Binding heal, we talked about this earlier. And then for the AoE and healing over time, we got prayer of healing. Please note that this only heals the priest's party. So if you're in the tank group, you might want to use this to heal both tanks at the same time. Then we got renew, our hot. We got a rank 5 for mana efficient, low damage phases, and we got a rank 12 that we mainly put on tanks to make sure that they're rolling on them all the time. And then we got, like I said, circle of healing, instant cast, AoE healing spell. Next up, we're going to look at some buffs that we bring. Inner Fire is always going to be on ourselves. We bring Prayer of Shadow Protection, which increases the group's and the raid's shadow resistance by 70. And we bring Power Word Fortitude, which increases the stamina of the group. Priests are always going to be wanted for these. They're really good buffs to bring wherever you go. Next up, we're going to look at some utility. And as you can see, we got 2 dispels. We got dispel for magic effects, where we can dispel 2 of them. We got a cure disease. We got mind control, mind soothe, psychic scream, shackle undead, which is a CC, pretty useful in like shattered hole, aesthetic holes. And then also we got mass dispel that we can use on a group or the raid to clear plenty of magic debuffs. Next up, before we head into the last couple of things, we're going to talk a little bit about downranking. Why are we downranking? Like you saw earlier, I had 2 ranks of greater heal. Basically what downranking is that I can stack my gear with a lot of healing items, and then my rank 2 greater heal is going to heal more for the mana it costs me, instead of, you know, always going for rank 7, which also going to cost a lot of mana. The same thing goes for renew, rank 5 and rank 12. You know, that plus healing is going to help you out immensely to keep your mana rolling throughout the fight. So just remember, instead of using heal rank 4, use greater heal rank 2, because it's both cheaper and heals for more. So next up, we're going to have some gameplay tips, just to things to get us started here. So pre-pull many times as you can. Put Prayer of Mending, POM, and Power Word Shield on the tank. So as you can see, both of these spells, put them on the tank so you can run in, especially if you're running a group with a paladin. This is going to help them out immensely. During combat, use Inner Focus with a max rank greater heal of Prayer of Healing. Like you can see here, it's a 3-minute cooldown that increases the crit chance and reduces the mana cost by 100%. So pop this, use a greater heal rank 7, your tank is going to help you out. During boss fights, you know, don't be afraid to use your Shadow Fiend to regen mana. You know, you don't have to wait until you're completely oomed to use your Shadow Fiend. Another thing that I could really, tell you is a benefit is that when you're popping Heroism or Bloodlust, if you pop your Shadow Fiend, he's gonna snapshot your spell haste and he's gonna hit a lot faster, and he's gonna, regen you a lot more mana. Other than that, like I said, use the 5-second rule. What the 5-second rule is that if you're not casting spells within 5 seconds, your mana bar acts as if you're out of combat, which is when your spirit kicks in and your mana regen kicks in. So a good thing to do is that you be pretty aggressive with your healing, top everyone up, get hots out, and then you just wait for 5 seconds and let it do the work. So that's about it for the theoretical part. Now we're gonna jump into a dungeon, and I'm gonna comment over what I'm doing, and then we're gonna finish the video from there. Make sure, guys, like I said, like it, leave a comment and subscribe. Looking forward to it. See you in using my Shadow Fiend. You know, I'm at half mana, but the boss is gonna die right over there. So, you know, that's a good free. Oh shit. Are these guys fucking for real? Did we just enter a normal Steam Vaults and not an heroic one? oh, Jesus Christ. Well, be right back, boys. I'll catch up with you when we're at the same point on the heroic version. See you in a second. Okay, boys, so we're back in the Steam Vaults, but this time on heroic difficulty. We just managed to clear some trash packs and felt firsthand how much harder they hit. On heroic difficulty, maybe a couple of deaths here and there, but who gives a shit, we're soon up to the first boss. So, same procedure applies. Renew, Power Word Shield, Prayer of Mending. Let's see this guy here then. The tank runs in. And this warrior is just gonna do melee damage, so you know I'm just gonna have my mana start regenning. Using that 5-second rule. So, boss time. So as you can see, this boss is gonna have 2 ads spawn. It's gonna be a little bit of AoE damage to manage, but it's gonna be pretty interesting to see, you know, how we're figuring it out. There we go. The guy pulls the boss, we pull hero right away. We got ourselves some AoE damage right from the start. Inner focus with Prayer of Healing. Throw renews max rank on the whole group. Now I'm actually gonna use Shadow Fiend. Just let it tick with my hero and get my mana back up. Still keep to the basics, use your renew, your Prayer of Mending. Make sure see here that the group is all right, use the 5-second rule. There we go, again, boom, and easy. And we got Incanter's Gloves. So we're gonna greed on those because we don't really need them. Here, also something to remember is that the AoE doesn't stop just because the boss dies. So I'll just speed cut here and then we're gonna talk a little bit about the gameplay on the next boss. See you there. So we're coming up on the second boss, the gnome mecha suit guy. This is a boss with some ad spawns, which means that I'm gonna have to really check my healing aggro and let the tank pick up all the ads. If I don't, I'm gonna be screwed, but we're just gonna finish up these few trash packs here. As you can see, I decided to sit down and drink before the tank pulled so I can get my mana up. That way, you know, we could realistically pull the boss once these guys are dead. Then it's just keeping the group healthy and good with their health. As you can see here, 52% mana, 48% mana, sit down, drink fast as fast as you can. Just taking a sip of soda. Okay, so group is ready. Showing the tank that I'm ready by putting up my stuff. Prayer of Mending, renew, all of these things. Pop a trinket, renew another time. And there we go, off we go. Since we're playing with the paladin tank, he's pretty good at, you know, managing ad aggro. But other than that, We got some raid damage, use some circle of healings to top everybody up. There we go. Another power word shield on the tank. And just keep it all, the DPS in this group. For being a pug, it's actually pretty insane. You know, these guys, this warlock and this fucking elemental shaman are pumping like crazy. And a healing staff dropped. And we got a badge. So here we're coming up to the last couple of trash packs before the last boss, which is gonna be, they're always pretty tricky, but we'll see how we manage them. As you can see, the tank does an LOS pull. Our hunter makes a great move to CC one of the mobs, but the wrong mob apparently. So we got them all on blues, and this is the kind of stuff you need to organize and work with as a healer. You know, things might happen. And as you can see, the CC didn't go as planned, but that doesn't matter. We just keep doing our job, keep the tank healthy and good. And this is also, you know, just as a parenthesis, like, why do I cast Prayer of Mending on the tank pre-pull when we know it's gonna like jump away as soon as he gets hit by a mob? Well, the thing is that healing from the Prayer of Mending doesn't count to my own aggro as a priest. It counts towards the tank's aggro. So it actually helps his threat out with me just throwing that little ability on him. But anyway, you know, as you can see here, we're running short. I got two waters left, and we got 3 trash packs in the boss. We'll see how this goes. So tank goes in, we do the same ritual. Renew prayer and power word. There he goes. Hunter aggro's an oracle. You see it. Absolute beauty. This might be one of the better pug groups I actually joined. Like, it's actually insane. They're super smooth, super good players. And that helps my healing out quite a bit. I can just focus on my stuff, and I know that I can help them out if needed. So there we go, next pack down. You see these heroics with proper CC and some good reaction skills. It's not that hard. Well, next pack, let's see how he does this. We'll keep doing the same thing. I'm gonna actually pull here with the 50% mana. I'm gonna sit down and drink while he's pulling to get myself a little bit extra time. There we go. Tank goes LOS. Hunter pulls a get mob to the side. Just make sure when you're doing these strats that you're standing close enough so that you can heal the hunter when he's doing the CC. As you can see here, I got silenced, so I'm falling a little bit behind. Inner focus, prayer of healing. A little bit too slow, couldn't say the shaman there. That was a bit sad. But you know, that's the silence's fault. There we go, tank's looking pretty good. Keep the prayer of mending on him. Keep the shield on him. This is very important, you know, guys. When you're playing with warriors or druids, be a bit more conservative with using power word shield, because it actually hamstrings the tank from being able to generate rage, because they're only generating rage once they're being struck by melee attacks. So when you're with a paladin, use it as much as you want. When you're with a warrior or a druid, be a bit more conservative. Let them get the rage up at least before you start throwing shields on them. How did I know that? Well, I learned the hard way. I learned the absolute hardest way possible. So apparently it looks like the tank wants to skip the last pack and go straight for the boss, which I'm pretty okay with, so I'm just gonna follow him after here and see what he does. See what the group does. Warlord Carry Thrash. And this guy has, as you probably know by now, he has a spell reflect mechanic, which is quite interesting to work with as a healer, because then your job is going to be determined on how much damage the DPS players does to themselves. But here we go. Carry Thrash pulled. We got Prayer Mending up. Everything is rolling fine. Tank pulls him back in the room. And this boss actually slaps pretty hard, so you know, make sure to keep an active eye on the tank. This is going to be the first phase. It's just going to be tank healing until he puts up his spell reflect shield. So there you can see the shield is up, spell reflection, and there you can see it right away. The shaman and the warlock got a little bit slapped by themselves, but it's nothing major. You know, we can just keep the group rolling. I'm down 50% mana. I'm actually gonna throw out my Shadow Fiend here. I don't really have anything to lose. And just make sure that I keep the group topped and ready for the next shield phase, which is there. And recast the Prayer of Healing, because apparently our shaman didn't know that he was reflecting himself. The boss is down 20%, mana is looking good, I got about 50% mana left. So this is a well played situation from the whole team. You know, really smooth, really good. And down the boss goes. There we go, and he, oh my god, he drops my pre-bis legs. On my first Steamvolt's heroic run on this guy. This is actually insane. Incanter's Pauldrons, I'm gonna read on those for off-spec. And I'm gonna read on the Primal Nether. So that's about it, guys. That's the gameplay section done. You know, like I said, make sure to leave a like if the video deserves it. Make sure to comment some feedback for me and subscribe for more. Take care, guys. See you around. Ciao.